Hey, everyone. Andy Hall here. Being mellow, being cool, being chill. It's Friday. It's 9:30. Tobin was trying to come up. He's having technical difficulties. So I'm just hanging out here, drinking my cup of coffee. If no one shows up in 5 minutes, I'm heading out. Gonna start my weekend. My 4-day weekend. Yeah, maybe my 4-day weekend. A 5-day weekend? It's a little bit of a vacation I'm doing. So, along with the kids and the girlfriend. So yeah, I hope everyone's doing okay so far. Today's been relatively good, right? Good morning, D Parks and Big Zebra, Big Zeb. Yeah, so basically no one else is here. Like I said, Tobin was trying to come in, technical issues. And so I'm just going to hang out for another 3 minutes and 55 seconds, maybe, perhaps. Sip my coffee, talk about some of the crazy. Did you see the video of Patrick King? Well, I mean, you were all here to see that. Convoy trucker leader, a third grade intellect, to say the least. And every single one of his assertions about replacement theory can so easily been, just refuted. Oh, okay. That's cool, Big Zeb. There's nothing mandatory. Oh, yeah, I think Tobin is, wow. I don't know if you're all ready for this, but we're going to check it out. Tobin. And John Hudson. And we got a close up of Tobin's beard there for a minute. I feel the pain, Tobin. I feel like you might be in one of those space capsules, right? And you're about to crash land, and it's like moving. The camera's moving. You're moving. What's up, John Hudson?
Good morning.
D Parks, I did see the story. I was preparing for the show, and I'm probably going to put it in the scientific horoscope, that there is a lot of lead in bald eagles. Now, I only saw the headline. I didn't read the actual story itself, but my opinion, and this wouldn't be the internet if I didn't have opinion, especially since I didn't read the story. But there's environmental toxins everywhere, especially if you're eating the fish that's in this country, or internationally, to tell you the truth. There are, I stopped eating fish a long time before I cut off meat entirely. And part of the reason is because of the toxins in fish. And what a lot of people don't realize too, if you're hunters, the shot that you use has lead. I mean, you can actually poison yourself with lead by eating game that you've shot if you're not careful.
Use steel shot.
I was watching this. What was it? I was listening to an NPR story about. I mean, obviously, if you use steel shot, you're not going to have to worry about lead poisoning. But see, now I'm going to look it up because what's Tobin? Are you with us, sir?
I can hear y'all. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
For some reason, it won't work through my headset. I don't know if I'm causing an echo because I just have it playing straight through my phone.
Yeah, dude, you sound good.
Sounds all right.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Can lead pellets give you lead poisoning? Bullets, lead pellets. Yeah.
Well, of course they can.
Yeah. So don't use lead pellets if you're going to go shoot things. But a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people don't realize what they're. My girlfriend, her ex-husband went around shooting, and he probably used a lot of lead pellets too. A lot of lead shot.
Well,
it's sad. And then veterinarians are like finding animals with lead poisoning and stuff because they're like, if you don't kill them, and then other stuff is eating them.
Yeah.
Mercury in the fish is pretty bad too anymore.
Yeah, well, the mercury in the fish, especially in salmon, right? Salmon, tuna, the large fatty fish. Yeah, man, that mercury stuff. Yeah.
Not going to change my mind. It's delicious.
Oh, John Hudson, it's too late for you anyway, sir. Come on. Oh, I'm sorry for that. I don't know why I drive people away. I don't know why.
Get your red card ready. Get it ready. Fuck you.
Right. So, all right, I'll tell you what happened. Right, this is just tells you how popular I am. I was about to go on the Right to Reason. Robert Stanley does that show. It's a podcast. He also has a YouTube channel. And before the show, one of the other guests, and this just tells you about my humor, and especially when I don't think about the joke before I say it. He was going to give me a hard time. It's like, oh, all those books in the background. Did you write all those books? And I just told him, it's like, I wouldn't be on this shitty show if I did. And I go, oh, that probably wasn't the right thing to say. Though everyone did laugh, as long as they're laughing, right? I think you
kicking them in the balls, man.
Touche.
Kick them in the balls.
Yeah.
Touche.
Yeah. And so that was the last. No, so that show is when I ended up yelling at the person who was, it was a complete meltdown. I don't do many meltdowns, but that was a meltdown of a show. Good times. So what are you guys up to? Anything exciting? Got anything happening in Texas? I feel like I'm the lone Northeasterner here in Texas, with Texans.
Nursing a bit of a hangover this morning. Went up to Johnson City to a barbecue place last night and had dinner and some drinks.
Oh, nice. That sounds nice.
It was good. And first time I've been out with the ex-wife in years, and it was civil.
Oh,
she only bitched about the dinner once, and that was because she had her to-go package and left it. So,
Yeah, I cannot. I'm trying to think of exes of mine that would agree to sit down to dinner with Andy Hall. Maybe someone from like 30 years ago, where the ugliness has faded deep into history. Maybe that one person would agree, but I can't think of anyone else, to tell you the truth, who would be willing to have a little dinner action, a little conversation.
I think most of mine would, but there's a couple of mine that I don't think they could handle it. I still don't think they could handle it.
They can't handle the Tobin.
I bet you I could get 70% of the women that I date to go out and have dinner with me again.
Well, you're nice. John, all joking aside, you're a good guy. You're a funny guy. And you're not, maybe you're just as much of an asshole as I am, right? But I think you package it better. I think you probably package it better.
I just don't burn bridges. It's you never know when you have to cross it. You know what I mean?
I was telling this to I was talking to the girlfriend about this before the show started, and she's like, "So you're going to do the show today, right? Because I have the day off because we're going to New York City." It's like, yeah, I'm doing the show, but it could be my last show on that channel because I'm showing this video about white replacement theory, which is insane, and it's such a crazy video. It's important for people to see it. And then I go, as I'm brushing my teeth, but I've never really considered anything I do really part of a career plan, and maybe that's one of my problems.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
That is crazy, though. All them truckers honking their horns. Damn it, man.
Yeah. Funded by the USA, goaded on by Fox News and Donald J. Trump. Yeah.
Well, and good news is 19 police officers in Austin were indicted yesterday on the 2020 riots. The Black Lives Matter. Yeah. So
yeah,
the chief of police come out and he's like, "I can't believe the district attorney announced this." Well, isn't that his job?
Yes. in theory. But as we all know, the difference between theory and practice is that theory typically has nothing to do with practice. That's quoting, or paraphrasing Yogi Berra. But yeah, I saw that story, John, and that is a ray of sunshine that these cops who did not act properly are in the trouble bubble.
Well, they're really it was the police force was mainly white, which Austin is not, and they was showing their new class was I want to say 39% Hispanic. It was greater Hispanic than it was a white, which is probably a good step in order and get them in touch with the community.
Yeah, definitely. There are a few scientifically proven ways, and I listen to Freakonomics, the podcast about this, and one of the ways to make policing better, one of the stats is that if you have 30% or more of minorities in your police department, that typically makes the entire department, I don't know what the proper scientific term is, less asshole-ishness maybe, but yeah, 30% seems to be around that number.
Well, Dripping Springs is like 86% white.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that I've ever seen one of the constables of color out here.
Yeah.
I drive by wearing my cowboy hat and shit. I could be doing 15, 20 miles an hour, and they just wave at me driving the F-150 Ford,
Right.
Old gray and white has some advantages.
It does. There's no doubt about that. Speaking as old and gray myself. By the way, we might be going to Texas. The girlfriend and I, one of her friends has a bison farm. I don't know where it is.
Oh,
they
cool.
just got they're out somewhere out there. Now I don't know if they're out there as close to your out there, John Hudson or Tobin, because I know there's a lot of out there in Texas. But it's out there. They have 9 bison, and the couple have been talking about it for a while, and we just saw it on the gram the other day that they just got 9 bison, youngish ones, young ones.
Right.
And so I'm intrigued. Have
you ever ate bison?
What's that?
Have you ever ate bison?
I think yes, because bison at this point you can actually get it in this grocery store, right? They get it in the vacuum package, and so I have. And I used to make when I made chili, like meaty chili, I would put bison in.
I like it second best to elk. Yeah, I'd rather have elk first, and then bison would be my second favorite red meat.
Are you frozen, Tobin, or are you just posing?
No, actually, I'm thinking that like some of the elk I've seen, they look like deer on steroids. Like those elk are humongous as well.
Yeah. The thing about shooting elk is people don't realize is you got to get that son of a bitch back to camp, and it's generally quartered in the field.
Dude, that is so true for so many different things. One of the stories that really stick with me is about the Himalayan guide, the mountaineer who, went up to Mount Everest, and with his, and this was a paid guide, and he went up with this, millionaire, and they got up there maybe too late, right? Because you're only supposed to be up there. Right. Maybe get up there by noontime, let's say, and you're supposed to start descending shortly afterwards. Well, they got up there 2 hours late, and they both died on the way down. Storm came, and they had to spend the night on the mountain, and that Mount Everest, and that they did not make it through. And a lot of people don't realize that you got to go back down the other side of the mountain. You got to go down the other side of the mountain.
Well, and the one thing too is the elevations, the oxygen. Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been all over the Rocky Mountains and such, probably only at 16,000 feet. And you get up into that altitude, and it's a lot harder to breathe.
Yep. I was up there. I was in Colorado with a girlfriend last year. I think it was last year. And we drove around. We went to the Overlook. Well, not the hotel that the
Overlook Hotel, yeah.
Yeah, and that was pretty cool. Didn't do any hiking. Not a big. I'm
Yeah,
more of a walker.
I was disappointed when I went there, finding out that my maze was actually up in Oregon or Washington.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, where's the maze? Oh, it's not even here.
No maze. Artistic license with that.
That show still that one bugs the hell out of me anytime I watch it. Probably the scariest show I ever seen, and there's no blood except for what rushes out of the wall.
Right. Yeah.
You don't see any of the murders, but geez. And anytime I see twins anymore, it just freaks me out.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, big wheels, kids on big wheels.
Yep.
Like, man. I don't know.
Danny isn't here anymore, Mrs. Torrance.
Yeah. Classic King, the elevator blood. That's right, Big Zebra.
The elevator blood. That's right. When he opens the door.
Yeah.
Just the madness that Johnny goes through,
Well, that's really what King is good at, is, seeing the main character or whatever character, secondary, tertiary, whatever, do the slow descent into craziness. And that's what I think that's where he shines, right? Is when the slow descent, or maybe the not so slow descent. Yeah.
Yeah. Like in Christine too, Kid was pretty sane at first. And, by the end it was the car had wrecked him,
Yep. And I have to tell you, that's probably one of the things that have helped me not to be crazy. I could write a book, how I have stayed not so crazy. And I think probably being a little anxious about, I wonder if this is one of those Stephen King situations that I just get my quirks start getting a little quirkier. And then before you know it, I start saying, here's Johnny with an axe, I think it keeps some of my quirkier tendencies in check.
Wendy, give me the bat.
Yeah.
If I was going to write a book, I'd have to call it Rolling with the Crazy.
Yeah. Big Zebra says that Stephen King plays in a band with other authors. Yep. The Remainders. Publishing joke forms the name of the band, Remainders. Yeah. So we've been watching, the girlfriend and I, we've been watching Game of Thrones. We've been binging through the series, and we just finished, I think it's season 3. And when you talk about well-written, like stuff that just comes out of nowhere and you go, wow, that was pretty crazy. I've become a fan. That's what I have. I've become a fan over the last couple of weeks of watching it.
Last thing I binged watched, I think it was Letterkenny.
What's that all about?
A Canadian town of 5,000 and their troubles and strives in life.
Oh.
It's comedy. It's
okay.
It's comedy gold. Get a chance, check out a couple episodes. It's on the Netflix.
It's on the Netflix.
Netflix, or is it the Hulu? I can't remember.
We have both, or she has both. So that means I guess I kind of have both. So yeah.
Check out an episode or two. It'll string you in.
Right.
I've told myself I'm not starting any new TV series. Like, I have too many things on my plate right now to start a TV series. Because it's like, I don't know, I will binge watch a show until it's all done.
Yeah.
It's hard for me not to, especially once I get intrigued. I'm like, what happens?
Yeah.
So I've told myself I must complete some things, and then
I
admire your strategy.
Well, the thing about Letterkenny is it switches up a lot. It's about they've got the shirt tuckers, which are the country boys, and they've got the skids that are a bunch of meth heads, and then they're fighting. It's funny. They're in a bar a lot, and and it's a show that you can watch one episode and put it down because it doesn't continue into the next and the next.
Right.
You can watch them out of. You don't have to watch them in sequence. It's just funny shit.
The
dialogue.
I said it before, but I'll say it again. The girlfriend and I, just before we were getting ready to retire last night, we finished up the Game of Thrones episode, and then we're just hanging out. And she says, "Well, do you want to watch an episode of Catfish?" It's like, they're relatively short episodes, Catfish, and if you haven't seen Catfish, then it is really a tutorial on how to be a critical thinker or how not to be a critical thinker. Right? Because you see a variety of different psychiatric diagnoses and logical fallacies, like a train that just keeps on rolling. And if you don't know what catfishing is, it's when people make fake profiles on social media and they get into these quote unquote relationships, these relationships with people. And it was always for me at least, surprising. And like I said, it's a good tutorial on how not to think.
Yeah, seeing how somebody can mess something up. Yeah.
Like catastrophically mess up. So I hear that the Olympics are going to be over. My girlfriend's been watching them. I hear the Olympics are going to be over, and supposedly, what they are saying, the smart talking heads, is that that's when the Russians are going to invade Ukraine. Haven't talked about it a whole lot on the other show because there's so much other stuff going on. But that it bears mentioning that supposedly that was the Russians are pretty much allies, friendly with the Chinese, and because the Olympics are being in China, the Russians don't want to step on the spotlight or push China out of the spotlight. And so if there is going to be, and also there's a point that winter's ending and that there's not, the roads are going to suck, basically. It's going to be nothing but mud, with the rainy season. And so if the Russians are going to invade Ukraine, which it looks like they will, it's going to be soon.
It always makes me wonder if they're just, if our media is trying to sell us another boogeyman, though, something to be scared of,
Yeah, and I'm spot on with you on that, John Hudson, too. But when you look at the Russian involvement in Ukraine, they're just a bunch of a-holes, Putin. He's already taken like the Crimea and parts of eastern Ukraine. I mean, the man's got a history of doing that. I'm
watching the national news, and they're just calling the place Kyiv instead. Isn't it Kiev?
Well, I think what happens is that there's a lot of names that have been mispronounced by British folks. They've been anglicized, right?
With their proper English.
Right. And so I think what happened at some point recently, there's probably a couple of Ukrainians who are like tapping news agencies on the shoulder going, the way how we pronounce it, and that's the right way to pronounce it too, since it's our place, is Kyiv and not.
Oh, really?
Kiev. That's what I'm guessing. Because Kiev does sound like an anglicization of the word. And I'm guessing that if you're a Ukrainian, you actually say Kyiv. That's how you would refer to the city, to your own, to your own nation's capital. So that's what I'm guessing. But I noticed that too, John Hudson. I'm going, why did they change it? And I'm just guessing we've just been mispronouncing it for so long.
They got politically correct finally, huh?
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. I mean, the Russians have been invading them, exploding nuclear power plants, creating famines in their country. Why not? Why not let them name their own city? Call the city the way that they want them to be called.
Does it make a for strategic value? What's the purpose that are there?
Well, the thing is, when you look at, and I was thinking about this the other day, is like after World War I. Oh, we're going to talk about that again. After World War I, a lot of nations' borders were changed, right? And a lot of the premise for World War II by the Germans, a lot of the gripes the Germans had is that we're, or their explanation of why they're going to war is like, we have these borders are bogus and we're going to just take them back, or we're going to take what's ours. And that's complete BS, of course. But I think there's a similarity between as World War I what is to the Cold War, right? Because, the Soviets, the Russians, they lost a lot of territory. They lost everything in Eastern Europe, and a lot of their republics, the USSR's republics, went independent, like the Ukraine. Vladimir Lenin. I'm sorry, Vladimir Putin has who was KGB guy. He's KGB guy. He's always considered the dissolution of the USSR to be one of the greatest, crimes, tragedies in world history. And so I think he just wants to renegotiate the country's borders. That's part of it. Yeah. That was a long explanation, and if that didn't make sense, I'm sorry. That was just
it made total sense.
How I've been wrapping my mind around the current and future mess, because yeah.
So he's going in to take Ukraine, or he just wants to reorganize their borders?
It's a good question, Tobin. Taking all of Ukraine, that's a big bite. What he might want to do is just overthrow the government and put in a puppet, make basically a vassal state. Or he could do the traditional Russian thing with making basically East Ukraine and West Ukraine, and just having like what is East Ukraine being basically a buffer state, a vassal state between the West and Russia, the Russian Federation. So, or he could just be, because that's already happened, right? I mean, he has a small piece of Ukraine in the east, in the Donbass region, and he also has the Crimea. So if he just wanted to take a small bite of Ukraine, he would just be making a bigger slice, basically, and making a land corridor between eastern Ukraine, the part that he has now, and the Crimea. If he wants to go full East Germany, West Germany, he would just probably cut down, because there's a major river system that bisects the Ukraine. And if he really wanted to take a big bite out of it, he would just basically to the demarcation line through that center of the country. It effectively have East Ukraine, West Ukraine. So those are basically the three options that I see what the Russians are going to do. Either overthrow the entire government, which is difficult, and put in a puppet leader. Difficult to do because that takes a lot of resources. To just make a land corridor, take a piece of Ukraine and make a land corridor between the Donbass region and the Crimea. And then kind of like the middle of the road version would be just slicing off half the country and effectively making it, like East Germany, West Germany kind of thing. But if it's going to happen, it's going to happen soon. Yeah. What's up, Jesse Bear?
I haven't caught any of the Olympics this year. None of it. I've missed it completely.
Yeah. I saw a bit of the curling team, the U.S. curling team. Some dude looks like he's going to a concert in 1988.
I really like watching the curling.
It is a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun to watch.
The first time I saw it, I'm like, what the hell is this? And kind of see how they play it strategically to bounce somebody out of the thing. It's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah. There's a certain amount of strategy and skill involved in curling. And I guess I was looking at it online, looking at the history, and I guess it originated in Scotland. I think maybe in the 16th century. I think that's one of the first records of people curling. And I
haven't gotten to play curling, but we have a game up here where it's just the table and a little metal disc. It's basically the same.
Oh, really?
But it is fun.
Washers?
it at the bars I've played at, they're like heavy metal. It's much bigger than a washer. It's like about that size.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I've never seen that game. I've stuck to the typical drink. I mean, when I've done drinking games, it's been stuff like quarters or beer pong, stuff like that. Simple, good old fashioned games, not like this crazy washer, table.
Cornhole.
No, cornhole.
Yeah, playing cornhole. Yeah.
That's just fun to say.
It is fun to say. You're right. Cornhole.
I have to giggle when anybody says
Yeah.
I like playing the ladder ball, where it's golf balls that are drilled out with rope in between them, and then there's a PVC ladder that's like you got 3 different rows, and you throw the golf balls, and they will catch on the ladder.
I've heard that that's just an excuse to go drinking, John Hudson. That's what I've heard.
It's more fun drinking.
My ex-wife, and the only reason why I know this is because my kid told me this. My ex-wife went up to a ladder ball kind of festival and dragged my kid up there with her, and fascinating stuff.
Yeah. Well, I associate everything with drinking.
Yeah. Well, anything worthwhile. I mean, come on.
Golf. I'm pretty good the first 3 holes, and then I'm just so shit faced the next 6 that it's like. But you get to drive cars, so it's fun.
Right. Who had World War III on their 2022 bingo card? That's a good question, D Parks. That's a good question. I did not. Yeah.
I just checked.
So I bet that guy you were talking about is like probably got some stuff he's been talking about the World War III starting.
Yeah.
Those are some nutbags, dude.
There's a lot of nutbags, and there's a bunch of evangelicals out there who get like little chubbies, little hard-ons when they think about World War III, because then the rapture would happen probably, right? And they all go up to Jesus land. And
yeah.
Oh God.
Now this is interesting. I learned a ton of new drinking games over the summer. A friend had a frat boy summer party barbecue with drinking games. Fascinating. Was there paddleball involved? Was there paddleball involved? That seems to be some kind. I haven't played. There's a big paddleball area down the street from us where you can play.
Well, over at Dreamland, they've got like 8 pickleball courts.
Oh wow, pickleball! That's right, pickleball. Yeah.
It's really popular. It doesn't look like anything I want to do, but
no.
You'd spill my drink playing.
I can play a mean game of ping pong, but I don't know if my skill set would really transfer over to pickleball. I don't know. All right, I'm going to start closing out the show because I have to do laundry, I have to pack, and I should do some other work related, only Sky stuff before shooting off this afternoon. So, you guys got anything exciting this weekend? Got anything going on?
Just more work for me. That's what I got going on.
We're doing a photo shoot down at Pearl Brewery down in San Antonio on Sunday.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah. I love San Antonio. It's such a beautiful town. We do the river walk and stuff every time we're there, and there's some great parks. And you get good Mexican food down in San Antonio.
Oh, I would imagine. Yeah.
It's not just the Tex-Mex that you find around the Austin area. You get some authentic Mexican food down there.
Thanks, Jesse Bear. It should be a good time. All right, so take care. You'll see me again on Wednesday. Of course, I'll be on Facebook, and since I won't be, and I know I'm crazy. everyone. I plan to be doing a lot more writing on Only Sky and getting posts done, because what happens is that I'm up hours before everybody else, when I'm on vacation. So that's when I do the the typing stuff. And so I'll still be posting on Only Sky over the weekend.
We'll have fun.
Take care. Thanks, everyone. Shamla Hamla.
Shamla hamla.
Hamala, hamala.